People excited to see Prince Charles just walking off the NATO warship. Much of our money goes to fund the ship, and then some other taxpayer money goes to fund Prince Charles. He's not really a NATO officer, he's pretending to be a NATO officer. Prince Charles has nothing to do with NATO, but he loves the ships. This is one of the most advanced warships the British Navy has to offer, and it also has this massive black reflector on top, which emits loads of radiation. It's actually dangerous, I think, for the people to stand here. But they love Prince Charles, who's just riding on the NATO bandwagon. Would you say NATO is like a members club for the rich countries, and they're trying to get the poor countries in?
Yeah, I think NATO is...
It's a big buffet.
Yeah, it's essentially an imperial institution which has no place in a free and democratic world.
The solution could be for Israel to join NATO. Then NATO would be much more hated, justifiably so, than it is today.
In a strange way, I think NATO would probably get a bad press if Israel did join, which is probably why they've been kept out so far.
So NATO gets some good press.
Yes, because they can claim stuff like
Ukraine.
Iraq was a humanitarian intervention, which of course to anyone who knows the fact is a joke.
I think NATO is a big members club, and the problem is not all the countries are admitted in. Trying to do a piece to camera to the policeman's camera. NATO is like a members club. Like in London, there's so many members clubs, and I always sneak into them. But I find it harder to sneak into NATO.
I'd imagine so. You should get like a David Cameron mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Look more like a murderer.
Or like a...
Get the evil eyes on.
I should dress up like Julian Assange. Big costume,
Yeah, I think
white
so.
hair, and sneak in.
Exactly. And then if you look like you're in the neoliberal fanboy club, then they might let you in.
Yeah.
It's possible. And if you shout angry things about Russia enough and imperialism, then they'll be like, oh, come right on in.
If there's no one protecting the protesters, then the police can pretty much do whatever they want to him. Because obviously in the public eye we're seen as the bad people, which is ridiculous, obviously.
Yeah. NATO is kind of a members club for countries who are willing to be a part of this alliance. The thing about NATO, it's really expensive to get in. It's an issue to carry Palestinian flags in the NATO protest. Oh, okay, so what's the issue?
No, the issue is the fact that he wanted to climb up a building and
Okay.
and endanger himself.
Oh, that building there.
Oh, I was hoping for a lamppost, but there don't actually seem to be any lampposts on this street.
Being a policeman is sweaty, and it's hard for them to move wearing all the gear. But it's important to remember that they are middle class mostly and are the victims of this big money and big corporations, big military. They're just trying to protect people of Wales. Policemen can't stand NATO like me or any other person, but they have to do their jobs. They wish they'd paid just as much as a NATO delegate gets paid. Would you like to get paid as much as a NATO delegate? Because they're really rich. They get all the money. I mean,
Well,
yeah.
they do a bit of a different job to us, though, don't they?
Well, they're bureaucrats, some of them. They don't actually do street policing.
Appreciate that, but unfortunately we can't answer that really, can we?
Police have arrested someone just as the Obama car is passing through.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you!
Obama's car is just passing. Many in the UK want to leave the European Union, but there is no UKIP, an independent party, just to leave NATO. There should be a referendum to ask the British people whether they want, once and for all, to leave the alliance. The results might be surprising.
I would prefer to take my news from RT rather than the BBC that professes itself as an impartial broadcaster, but I believe it not to be so.